Seth's question is up next. It says, we hope to buy a home. Even following the methods that we talk about on the show, like 20% down or about 25% of our gross income, it still feels like we're paying way too much.
Yeah.
How can we have peace that we won't be house poor?
Yeah.
And I think this echoes a lot of people's feelings right now. So let's help them think through this.
Let's first acknowledge that it's hard and you're not alone.
Yeah.
Real estate, you can look at all the affordability indicators, and maybe it's not an all-time low on the affordability, but relatively, it's hard to buy a home, and it's really, really hard for first-time home buyers right now. So that you are not unique in feeling this way. But your question was, how can I have peace? Well, you already noted that one of the things you've done is you've listened to the content we're releasing this. By the way, if you're thinking about buying a house, we have an entire home buying checklist that you can go check out. We have a whole home buying hub with calculators you can play with. Go to moneyguide.com/resources and check all of those things out that will walk you through, okay, if I am knowing that my timeline is right, meaning I know I'm going to be in this house for at least 5 to 7 years. It's going to be a long-term decision. And I know that I'm putting down an appropriate down payment. It doesn't have to be 20%, but maybe I'm only putting down 3 to 5% because this is my first time home. And I know that my housing is going to be less than 25% of my gross income. The question you ask is, how can I have peace even though I still feel like I'm paying a high price or overpaying a large premium? The way that you have peace is knowing that you're following the benchmarks that are going to keep you from being in the situation where your life goes into the ditch. If you were to flip that and all of a sudden now your housing is 45% of your gross income, or you're uncertain and you might have to move within 2 years, that's when you can get yourself in trouble. But you can have peace knowing that, okay, if we can afford this and we're following the metrics that the guys say we should follow, okay, I've done what I'm supposed to do. I say hold my nose. You're not really going to hold your nose because buying a home is a wonderful thing, but it always feel wonderful, especially not in this housing market. Doing those things are how you set yourself up to have peace with such a large and frankly scary financial decision.
I want to give you kind of the nuts and bolts of what immediately popped in my mind, and then maybe even share an experience share. The first thing, and Bo kind of talked about this, I think time is your friend so the longer you can know that you will live in this house, the easier it kind of mellows out the extremes of what we just came through. Because with houses going up 40 to 60% because of that inflationary period, I can see the shock and awe that's probably going through you mentally right now, because it's recent enough that you remember what you could have probably bought some of these houses, or when you look at the purchase history on the houses you're considering to buy, and you see what people bought these houses for in 2015 or 2016, you want to throw up.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely get that. So the way you combat that, the longer your timeline, if you know you're going to be in this house for 10 years, it helps on a lot of that to mellow it out. The second part is that non-financial stuff matters too. Mm-hmm. So if you've got like a growing family and you got school-age kids, and maybe it's the school system or it's something, or you want to make sure you get your kids into this community, or you want to be near your church or some other thing in the community that gets you excited and will give you those benefits that are outside the money part of it, that's going to also help you feel better about this moment in time and making such a big transaction. Here's the experience share I have is that when every house I'd bought 2 previous primary residence for myself in Georgia. The first one was like 100, and I know these numbers, I'm old, so give me a little grace. I'm not Warren Buffett buying houses for $60,000 because that's the story you always hear. But I am old enough that my first house was like $190,000. My second house was right around $400,000. But then when I moved to Williamson County up here, I had a little shock and awe because remember I moved up here. I had a daughter who with some special needs, special learning needs that she needed to address, and then I had my oldest daughter who needed a good public school system, and those things. It was hard to get all of the above, and we started doing a little research, and this place kind of checked all the boxes, specifically with that school. But when I saw the sticker shock of what houses cost in Williamson County kind of blew my mind. I was like, are you sure this thing's not out in California? I mean, because it felt like it. It's like Brentwood, Tennessee. Probably the housing prices are very similar to Brentwood, California in a lot of ways. And I remember right after we bought our house up here, after closing, for a week to 2 weeks, I really did have not buyer's remorse, but it was just that I had
what have I done?
this gut feeling, because I knew I was on the line for a close to 7-figure loan now for that moment in time. And that haunted me for a long period of time. Now, I have since created a plan. You guys know, I think, just to give you guys an update, I think I'm less than $50,000. I've now told myself I'm going to have it all paid off by the book tour.
Okay.
Or the book things that are coming out. But I'm so sorry, Louis. Keep going. But anyway, I will have it paid off in an upcoming date. But I'm just telling you, time heals all wounds. Your income will go up, assuming you're doing well. I screw everything up,
it's
but
the best.
it's fine. I keep. You got to see how I am with Christmas
tell
gifts.
me this: when it comes to a home, I'm going to say this for a used asset. Oh man, I'm going to say this, but Brian, if this is dumb, just tell me, Bo. Don't say that. It's okay to overpay. Meaning, it's not okay to overpay for home, but if you don't get the absolute number one best deal and you move out 7 to 10 years and you made all this money, because you've done that before, right? Like you bought a house, like in one of your homes, you didn't actually make money on the home, right? Like it wasn't something where it blew up in value.
No, look, I left Georgia just before housing prices went to the roof, so I didn't make a ton of money. But you are hitting on the non-financial stuff matters. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I had a big life event, and that's what I meant. Non-financial stuff matters that caused us to go take on more debt, but time has made that better. And now it seems like a joke. I mean, because you see what houses are trading for now, and you're like, well, what was I so worried about? Yep. But it is one of those things. Time is going to make it better, but know that it's okay. Misery loves it's okay to get comfort in knowing that others have also had this. Buyer's remorse is a pretty standardized thing when you're making big financial transactions. So you just have to know the coping skills of knowing that this will get better over time as long as you've made the right decisions, that you'll be in the area long enough, and that you're getting enough other benefits, value benefits. Because remember, cost is what you pay, value is what you receive. Amen. So are all those value elements of community, good place for your kids, and all that stuff, man, that stuff can be pretty priceless in what it's worth to you and your family.